Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant applies consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his roadmap to high-probability financial control. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Hey everybody, this is Grant. I've been thinking since I recently talked with one of my mentors, and he and I did a podcast together several podcasts ago, and that caused me to reflect on the roadmap for my investing journey, that I started over 5 years ago. And some parts of my journey have been intentional, and some have been opportunistic. Call it fate or whatever you want. To meet the right people at the right time. So I sat back and I said, all right, what have been those key things? And that led me to identify various insights that I discovered along the journey that added the next piece to the puzzle in my own journey of investing and trading. And so what I've done is I've prepared something, right? I've updated the material on my site on financialinvestingradio.com. And so what I'm offering is there's a download that you can grab. It's a PDF that outlines and describes the high probability activities for financial control, right? Things that you do to achieve high probability financial control. And it's based on key foundational fundamental principles, financial principles. All right, so there's 5 simple steps on the roadmap to high probability financial control that I want to discuss today. All right, so grab that from the download section. So if you go to financialinvestingradio.com, go to the podcast charts and videos section, you'll find it there. I think I even put it in a couple other spots as well on that page. But what's important to note is let's walk through these 5. And what this does is, and this is the approach in my own life, right? And so I had to sort of introspect and say, okay, what happened, right? What did I go through? And maybe this will apply to you in your journey. But the 5 steps are: do an assessment. And I'm going to walk through these steps in a little more detail in each of them. So do an assessment, number 1, of where you are. And then number 2, set some goals of where you want to try to get to. And 3, remove some non-essential elements. 4, save and invest. And 5, reduce debt and achieve your goals. So let me walk through these briefly. So on number 1, assess. Now, what led me to this was when I had the realization, and this was really the backstory that got me started, right? It was, and I've shared that a couple times. If you come to one of my web classes every few weeks at financialinvestingsecrets.com, I'll do a web class and I'll talk more about the backstory that led me here, and then more detail about tips and techniques for helping you to invest and to do so safely. All right. Now, what sort of drove me to this was this realization of this gap, right? That there's some things that I wanted to be able to be accomplishing. I knew if I just continued in the current mode, that was not going to go across as well either. So first I needed to do is I needed to determine and grow my own knowledge level of investing, right? This was about 5 years ago. I knew a little bit about it, not much though, quite frankly. And so I was wondering, what do I need to do? And I found and I put some links in the PDF, okay? So I put a link in there to an investor knowledge quiz. It's actually kind of helpful, kind of useful. Take it for a ride. It's only between you. It's not my site. It's another site out there that I found. But give it a shot. Try it out. And it kind of tells you where you are and where you're not. And that's actually helpful to be able to make that kind of assessment and know where you're going. And then take a look at your budgets, right? Your budgets, your debts, your income. Examine those things. and then create a budget, right? And there's some great, easy to use online tools like Mint or Personal Capital or Quicken or Yodlee. So again, I put links in the PDF to all those. So rather than me call those off, just grab that PDF. This will be for, I should have told you, if you go down, this would be for FIR for episode number 23. All right, go grab the PDF file for that. All right, so those, when it comes to making an assessment, we have to be honest with ourselves, figure out where we are, do the assessment, and then it helps us to then do number 2, which is setting a goal. So now that we've looked at where we are in terms of our budget and our income and debts, we need to come up with our goals and a plan in order to get there. Now, for me, there might be some goals that are more meaningful than for you. In other words, your goals might be different than mine, right? And that's not so important. What's important is, what are those meaningful goals? It might be debt reduction, it might be saving for a home down payment, or getting rid of credit card debts, or saving for retirement, or maybe there's some emergency funds you want to prepare for, or whatever it is. You got to arrive at what that is, and then when you do that, in fact, one of the not too long ago, when was this? Probably 3 or 4 months ago, I got to listen to Tony Robbins. I'd never listened to him live, but I was at an event. I was at an event with ClickFunnels actually, and I think they call it ClickFunnels Live. Now I'm getting the name wrong. Anyway, Tony Robbins showed up, and he talked for about 5 hours, and I tell you, the things that he covered, I kind of wondered, is this going to have meat? He had a lot of meat. Anyway, I put a link in the PDF to his tips on setting goals, which get tied to your life's purpose and life's values, right? So don't just grab any sort of goals. This is more about doing meaningful things in your life so that you can gain financial control. So take a look at, he gives some tips on setting goals, all right? Okay, so the first was do an assessment of where we are. Second is setting goals. Third is to remove the non-essential elements. Now, I broke this into 2 buckets, okay, into 2 categories or 2 areas. So the first one has to do with budget. So removing the non-essential elements from your budget. So take a look at the budget that you started with in the first step, and look at your goals and identify those items in your budget that you could be removed, and remove them. In other words, don't spend our money on things that is not of worth, right? Don't spend our money on things that isn't going to help us accomplish the goals that are meaningful in our life, or the way that we should be, living our life, or how we should be taking care of our families, or whatever that is, right? Whatever those goals are, change those as necessary, and get rid of the things out of the budget. So streamline that. Now, I put a few links in here too for some debt elimination plans. These are pretty decent sites. One's called Ready for Zero, the other's called Slateboard, the other's called The Balance, and there's others. But the key is, if you're going to get serious about it, go through one of those debt elimination plans, and then update your budget accordingly based on what that plan's telling you. Okay, so take a more serious look at removing the non-essentials, and in particular, look at taking debt out of your life. Now, the second part of removing non-essential elements has to do with time. That's another thing. If you think about those that are sitting in financial strength, they typically have got control over how they spend their money and how they use their time. And those are 2 very scarce resources. The one which never replenishes, right? Time never replenishes. So whenever you can get something that's going to save you time, save you on your journey, that's important, right? Because that's going to guide you in terms of managing a non-renewable resource, which is your time. Your budget, on the other hand, tends to be more of a renewable resource, but it's still a critical one. So we need to eliminate the non-essential elements from both the budget and time. So look at how you're spending your time and remove those things that aren't progressing you towards your goals. When I was younger, I read a book from Stephen R. Covey, 7 Habits, I think was the name of it. Anyway, he's got some awesome time management grids in there to categorize your to-do items. So be sure to categorize your goals as well as the way you spend your time And I put a link in the PDF to Stephen Covey's time management grid. So it's just good stuff, right? To leverage the good things that bright folks like he and others have put out there. All right, so the fourth step is save and invest. And when I think back 5 years ago where I was in terms of savings, I've been a saver throughout my life, so that part wasn't as new to me. But how to use the savings and the intent to use it was quite different than what I knew, right? So, but before you get there, you really need to take them into these two steps, right? Do the saving and then do the investing. So with the non-essential elements now removed from our time and from our budget, put in place a savings plan, right? So setting aside the first 10% is a powerful strategy. And one of the books that I read when I was younger was The Richest Man in Babylon. And so I put the link in here to the Amazon location where you can get that. I think it costs $3 or $4. It will pay you back, 100 million times over. It's extremely powerful, and yet so simple. All right, now, so with the savings plans in place, right, and showing the discipline to do that, the next then is learning about investment strategies. Now, I put links, quite self-servingly to my own sites, right? To Financial Investing Radio and also to Financial Investing Secrets. I run a web class sometimes every week, or there may be some time when I don't do it and then I come back to it. Kind of depends, quite frankly, on my ability to keep up with the demand. But in any event, in the web class, I talk about some things that you can do to help in your education. And that's where I was, right? I was trying to figure out, all right, I have some savings now. How do I invest this so that it will benefit me? So after you've gone through the appropriate investment training and education, and there's multiple ways and places to get that, establish a trading account and invest in high probability asset classes like stocks, all right? But I want to talk about that a little bit. So see, the key principle here is save to invest and then invest to achieve basically your goals, right? So save to invest and then invest to achieve your goals. That's the core principle here, right? So get rid of the waste, start saving, save to put into a mechanism where you can invest and have your money then working for you, not you working to pay someone else. That you'll never get ahead that way, all right? But sometimes you can't wait, all right? So you might have a mortgage, right, or whatever it is, right? It could be years. So instead of waiting, years and years, the strategy that you can use is you save to invest. And even though you may still have mortgage or rent or whatever it is, your car payments and so forth, you can still save enough to then start putting some investments in that will return you something, whether it's a CD or whether it's buying a growth stock or whether it's investing in options or in futures. You have to figure out what that right strategy is, which leads me then to the 6 steps to prepare for that. And it's step number it's step A, study investing strategies, right? Figure out what those strategies are. And then virtual trade those strategies in your trading account. Don't go live. Spend time, because you got to figure out your personality. You got to figure out the ways in which you're going to trade better or not better. You got to know what works well with you and what doesn't, what you have the patience for and what you don't have the patience for. So you got to virtual trade those strategies for a while. While you're doing that, you're saving up, you keep taking education. And then step C is select those strategies now that you've tested out that align with your goals and have been successful for you. And then D is then invest a small amount from your savings. So I'd never say take all your savings. Don't do that. But take a small amount from your savings that you've been able to prove out and begin investing with that small amount. And then, of course, step E is track your progress. And then F is, refine your strategies. You'll learn lessons as you do this. That's one of the greatest teachers. So don't overcommit yourself so that you put yourself in a financial problem. But put in enough so that you can both gain a reward, but also there'll be times where you'll learn lessons. Some of the best or painful or most memorable lessons. Pick your adjective. Were those where I took a loss, right? I tend to step back and say, what did I do wrong? What did I rush? What did I not understand? So yes, there is some risk in that, but it's also if you do it at the right amount, it won't destroy your learning process, because becoming that self-directed investor is critical. All right, and then step number 5, all right, in this roadmap journey is to reduce debt then. So as you're taking these lessons learned and then it's growing your returns on it, you're able to continue to apply that to your debt structure and you start achieving your goals. Ultimately, as you apply those strategies and achieve your goals, then you're going to start refining your goals, right? You're going to say, well, okay, I don't need to work on paying off that car anymore. Now I'm going to point it to another one of my debts that's high interest rate, and I want to go after that. And so you'll adjust your goals, and as you gain more skills and experience, you'll also change your investment strategies, and you'll build those out as well and refine those over time. It's a never-ending journey in the sense that you continue to learn, but quite frankly, as you pick 1 or 2 or 3 things that you become proficient at and prove out through your virtual testing, and then you start small, actually applying that over time as your experience and confidence grows, then you're able to increase the amount that you put into it, and of course increase your growth from there. But you gotta obviously move careful. Okay, that's the roadmap to high probability financial control. So you walk it carefully, you walk it intentionally, and some parts I walked intentionally on this. Others weren't as intentional. Others parts I just sort of discovered along the way in my own learning process. And it'll be that way for you most likely. All right, thanks for joining me. That's it for now, and until next time, trade safe.
Thank you for joining Grant on Financial Investing Radio. Remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Don't forget to download your free roadmap to high probability financial control before you make an investment decision. Visit financialinvestingradio.com now.